Look, we always needed a crisis to develop Europe because the member states tried to keep their competences and only have they seen that their competences are not enough to solve certain crises. It was in the financial crisis the case. It's now in the question of terror. Nobody has looked into the Treaty of Lisbon, what the article means of solidarity President Hollande has asked for. And it's also the question that the European Union or the Commission has proposed to have the Western Balkan countries as a safe country of origin, or 5 years ago to have the relocation quota system in it. It was all refused. It said, we do it nationally. Now they ask Europe to do that, and that I think gives the wrong impression that we have failed. No, the member states have failed. And now they see that the solution is only via Europe possible, that we have to explain to the people. I'll give you a last example. It was always said that we have not enough information to fight terror. But we have found out now that only 5 member countries have given all their data to Europol. We have now from Frontex the message that still member states refuse to give them all the data. How can we do it on a European level if the member states refuse that? And therefore we have now here a certain development because of the crisis, because of the terror victims in France, to do that on a European level in order to protect better our people.
What's your opinion about the fact, what seems to be the fact, that at least 2 of the terrorists in Paris were among the refugees coming into the country?
For sure, they use also the refugee situation. Therefore, it's important that we have the outside border control with registration and fingerprints. What is European law? We have to achieve that. The member states have to send more money and more staff to the outside borders. We have to do the EU-Turkey action plan, which gives better control. But we have to see that the majority of these terrorists are born in the European Union, have Belgium or French and other passports. So this question to mix it up, migration and terrorism, is not fair, because the vast majority of these people running for their life run away from this terrorist in the Middle East who do that things in the European Union.
When we're looking at the Middle East, looking at the situation now in Syria, the shutdown of a Russian jet, and can you find out who is whose enemy and whose friend?
I think the Vienna talks are very much important, where the global powers, Russia, the United States and Europe, have to agree on certain priorities, and that we have to find also a way that the regional powers, Turkey, Iran and Saudi Arabia, can find a way which is the priority number 1 enemy, that is ISIS. And this we have to achieve. Only if we achieve that, then the war can be limited, and also the numbers of refugees can be limited, and the end can be finished. And here this is the major blow for a moment, but it happened because of this Russian plane. Both have in a way they're right in that question. I think this plane had flown out of Turkey, but it was shot as they're already way out of Turkey. That it shows that we need more cooperation, because also these countries cannot follow the line if there's not a cooperation. Otherwise we have a clash there which will nobody help.
Am I right in presuming that we need Turkey more than ever to find out a solution to both the internal problems regarding the handling of refugees inside Turkey and to stop the flow from Turkey into Europe? How far would you suggest that we should go in finding ways to cooperate with Turkey?
I think first of all we have to help Turkey dealing with the refugees. President Erdogan told me already 5 months ago he will not continue to do that alone. 2.5 million refugees. Compared to the situation in Germany or Denmark, I think we are still in a pretty good situation. And you have to understand Lebanon is even worse. 1.4 million refugees on 4 million people of inhabitants. And therefore we have to help them here in order to bring them to that position to control again the borders as he did it 5 months ago. And the second point is to have clarify the relationship to him, to come in a certain way on the visa facilitation question with him. Makes sense, we discussed it a long time, and have him also as a ally in certain questions and open also chapters, for example, on the definition of human rights, freedom of expression of religion, the independence of judiciary and all that question makes sense anyway.
The Copenhagen criteria.
To make it as part of the Copenhagen criteria and part of the 35 chapters we have to open and to close. But they are not members of the European Union, and it will show that they have decreased their possibilities to become members because they're worse in the situation, not better, if I see the development of the last 2-3 years. And this, I think, if that is his wish, we should do that, because it does not do any harm to us. We need Turkey more, and a Turkey which is in a way on our side makes me feel better. If I see just the neighbors there, if they would be totally part of their neighbors, it would be a difficult situation for us. And the actual migration question is not solvable without cooperation with Turkey.
Final question concerning refugee problems. It's said that this number of refugees we're facing now is nothing concerning the climate refugees who might enter Europe in a few years' time. Do you think that COP21 in Paris will deal with problems like this?
If we would have in the climate change question progress, it would be helpful as one of the tools in that. But we need a better development policy, we need a better trade policy, a fairer trade policy, the policy for the trading raw materials and all these questions, and to give them a better living at home. Otherwise they will come, and you see that 50% of all state social benefits which are paid on this earth are paid to the 7% of world population, the 500 million Europeans. And if you would be a 20 years old Eritrean sitting at a street and knowing that now via smartphone, where would you go? And we have to see that, give the people at home a future, then they might not come. Without hope, they will come.
Thank you so much again.